Thank you for coming. Southside is always supported. Southside Overcomers, we always supported. The National Alliance on Mental Illness has been the Henry County chapter, and we're doing a lot of great things. So anytime you see, when I put up stuff for NAMI, the Southside Overcomers, you need to be a part of it, okay? Because we do some great things in the community. All right. And, the next thing, so while we're here, number one, I just turned 52 years old. All right. And I put a little thing on Facebook comparing the 23-year-old Eric to the 52-year-old Eric. And the only difference, the 23-year-old, physically, he wins hand down. But when you're talking about growth, when you're talking about mountain moving mentality, it's 52-year-old hands down. 52-year-old, God has blessed me with a lot of wisdom. I've been able to, influence and encourage a lot of people. And that's the best you can get. When you see somebody, especially for me, when I see one of my students walk down that aisle, graduating from high school, because the students that I teach, on 20% of them graduate from high school. Well, my numbers are more than 80 percentile, ranked. So I am graduating students, and it's the best feeling to see somebody that was counted out walk down that aisle. So that's one of the greatest feelings in the world for me. So at 52, those are the kind of things that I'm doing. I'm thinking about legacy now. I'm thinking about, the mountain mover mentality. Now, there are some downfalls to 52 because, number one, things start to hurt for no reason. 2 weeks ago, I got up and my whole foot was just hurting, like I was playing basketball. And I hadn't played basketball in a couple of years, man. My whole foot was just hurting. My wife looked at me and said, what's wrong, baby? I said, I don't know. I just woke up. My leg hurt. And it don't hurt just for one day. It hurt for, like you broke your leg for 2 weeks or something like that. So, that's one of the downfalls. Things hurt. I hear my wife all the time saying, yeah, what you want, baby? And I didn't even say anything for her. I'm just trying to get up the steps and it's hurting. I'm making all these noises. Oh, and she said, what you want, baby? So, that's the thing about being 52. You hurt for no reason. There has to be absolutely no reason for you to hurt. Things just hurt. Shoulders, everything just hurt. So we're here to celebrate my birthday, 52 years. And the next thing, we're here to celebrate the things that I do to help people change. I've been helping young people change. I've been helping, adults change now for a long time. And it's just, I've heard the calling of God saying that you have to take your work out to a bigger spectrum. You have to get a broader group of people to help and show them what you do to help people get better. Because I work with students that are, they really have the license to do whatever they want to do. They're aggressive students. They're diagnosed with emotional behavior disorder. We can't suspend them much. And so we have to find a way to deal with them. And I've been very successful for 12 years, helping those kind of students. And so now I'm at the point where I have to teach other people how to do what I do. And so that's what I want to talk to you about for a few minutes, some of the things that I do. If you look at my website, it'll tell you that my mission and vision, I want to help the below average and average thinking individual learn that they have above average potential to be great. So everything that I do is going to center around that thing, helping those that live in mediocrity, those that live in that average thinking, that below average thinking. I want to help them learn that they can achieve greatness. Okay? Because one of the things that I found out years ago when I started working with those same kind of students, I'm sitting up there trying to teach them science and math and all of these things, and the students are constantly, Coach Wortham, why do I have to learn this? It's stupid. It don't make sense. I already know what I'm going to do. I'm going to work with my daddy in his mechanic shop. I'm going to collect metal. You know, all the jobs that they were naming were things that people in their inner circle did. Okay? So they were limiting themselves, and it hurt me because most of my students, 98% of the students that I work with, are black students. And so it hurt me because they limited their ability. And so I learned right off that that's why teachers are struggling. We're trying to teach students math and science, and they don't think they have the ability to do math and science. So immediately I thought, man, I have to change that thinking first. I have to change that mindset. And so I started looking, I started praying, God, give me something to help these students learn that they can do great things. And I came across Dr. Carol Dweck. She had been doing studies on the brain for 30 years. She found out that there are some people with a fixed mindset that believe that talent, gifts, and ability are things that you can't change much. You have them. Some people are very talented, like Michael Jordan, and you know he was going to be that way anyway. He didn't have to do anything to do it. Then there are growth mindset people that believe that if I learn how to embrace challenges, I can do whatever I want to do. And I said, oh man, this is where my students are stumped at right here, because they don't believe that they have the ability. And so I start teaching mindset every Tuesday and Thursday. And in my sessions, I always found, a difficult situation so that I could show them that God gave everybody the ability to do something great. And so I was finding that there was a young man that was blind. Okay, but he was still able to ride his bicycle. Nobody could beat him in the games, when he played those computer games. He could still do whatever he wanted to do. He learned how to use the same concept that dolphins use because they can't see either. So he would snap his fingers. And so by snapping his fingers, the waves, he could tell what something is. So when he was walking with a reporter, he was outside walking. He said, that's a trash can right there. That's a bicycle right there. Just by snapping his finger. That blindness didn't stop him from being great. Still does everything that he wants to do. There was another man that didn't have arms. He had nubs for arms. But his parents taught him that he still had the ability to do greatness. And now he started working on engineering. And now he's one of the top engineers for a company that worked with the NASCAR, the race car. And yeah, because he didn't let his disability limit him to doing the things. There was another young man that I showed him. He had nubs for arms and legs, but he still swims. And he makes thousands of dollars every time he goes to a speaking engagement. And so he's doing great things even with his ability. So I showed them people that have a reason to live in mediocrity. I showed them people that had a reason, to stop working hard. I showed them people that had a reason, but they didn't stop. They kept doing things that would make them great. And the key concept was they learned how to embrace challenges. They learned how to embrace challenges. All right? They learned how to embrace challenges. So that's what I want to talk to you about for a few minutes. I had my auntie in Tennessee. She wrote this nice little thing for my birthday on last week. And one of the things she said is you wrote the word of the code, because you're doing successful things, right? And so I looked at it and I said, man, because to me, everybody can break the Wortham code, the Cade code, the Jackson code. Everybody can break that code, but you have to learn. The only thing that I do different is I don't stop when people tell me I can't do something. I don't stop when I have difficulty. I don't stop every time there's a little bit of challenge, because there are more people in my family, there are more talented people. And I've seen those people get excited about doing some things. They have this vision, they have the talent, and they get excited about doing it. But as soon as the first little adversity comes, they quit and start looking for something easy. Okay? So that's the thing that has been preventing, that's the difference between successful people and people that don't make it. Successful people find a way to pick themselves up when things don't work the way they want it to work. Okay? That's the difference. Successful people find a way to pick themselves up when things don't work out the way they planned. Okay? Oprah Winfrey, she was told that she didn't have a television personality by several television stations. She cried, yes she did, because sometimes when you're trying to be successful, you're going to cry because things are not going the way you want them to go. But she didn't quit. She kept going. And finally, she got her own show. Not only did she get her own show, she was so successful with that show, she started to own. CBS let her own show. So she was making a decision, and now she has her own TV station. First African-American woman billionaire. Okay? Because she didn't let people telling her that she didn't have a television personality stop her. She found a way to pick herself up. Okay? Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team. Cut. And he said he cried for 2 days. But he found a way to pick himself back up. And he kept going. And he said that I'll never get cut again. And so it made him work as hard as anybody ever worked on that basketball court. And he became the best. I think he's still the best basketball player that ever played. And because he learned how to embrace the challenges. He didn't stop. He didn't give up. Tyler Perry, for 7 years, all he wanted to do was do a play. And he took all the money he had. He kept investing his money. He kept losing money. Kept losing money because he would invite people and nobody would show up. Rent a facility that'll sit 1,000 people. About 35 people showed up first time. Okay? Did it again. You know, probably about 45, 50 people showed up. You know, but he never made money. He did that until one time he put his rent money and his car note up, and he ended up being homeless and without a way to get around. And now, most people would give up and say, no, this is not what God wants me to do. And that's what he said. A lot of his family members were telling him that maybe that's not the route God wants you to take. But he said, no, I believe in what I'm doing. So he found a way to keep pressing forward, to keep moving. And that's the thing that we have to learn how to do. We have to find a way to keep moving when difficulties come our way. That's what stops us. That's the difference between successful people and people that are not successful. Successful people find a way to make things happen. Okay? Ludacris, he knew he needed money. He wanted to make an album. He wanted to be a rap star. And he was at Georgia State University. He knew he needed some money to make his record some demos and stuff like that. And so he went to work at McDonald's, and he had 3 pair of jeans, and he had 4 t-shirts. And he said, I wore those 3 pair of jeans and 4 t-shirts for 2 years because I wanted to take the money that I was making and save it so that eventually I could make me some demos. Eventually I could go out and be in some talent shows because he knew it was going to take a little money for him to get to where he needed to be. He learned how to overcome the challenges and the difficulties. So what I'm saying is that whatever you want to do in life, you're going to face some difficulties. That difficulty might be money. Hey, I'm trying to go to school, but I don't have the funds to do it. But you got to keep trying. You can't give up. You can't stop because you don't have the funds. Sometimes you want to start a business, And it's the finances that keeping you from getting to where you want to be. But you can't stop because you don't have the finances. You have to find a way. Like Ludacris, he went to McDonald's and he sacrificed looking good and wearing all the fashionable stuff for 2 years so he could save the money to put to what he wanted to be. And it's about embracing difficulty. If we don't learn how to embrace challenges, that's what I taught my students, is that if you learn how to embrace challenges, that math that you say you can't do, if you learn how to embrace those challenges, math becomes easier for you. If you learn how to embrace the challenge, it's just like anything else. If you practice and you practice and you practice and you don't give up, the math that you thought was difficult becomes easy for you. And so it's about embracing the challenges in life. Okay? Is it hard sometimes? Yes. Michael Jordan said he cried for 2 days. Sometimes you have to cry. Sometimes I cry. Because I'm like, God, I don't see the things that you're telling me to do. I don't see the manifestation. But the thing about great people, people that live in greatness, people that live in success, they experience those same things, but we don't live there. We find a way to pick ourselves up. That's what Paul said. Paul said, if you go to one town and the people don't accept you, dust it off and go to the next one. Okay? That's how you become successful. Somebody don't show up, don't worry about that. Keep doing what you do. And eventually you'll get to where you want to be. Okay? I started teaching that for a pastor. He wanted me to help him grow his youth ministry. And the first time he said, man, where's the biblical stuff in that mindset stuff? I said, here it is. James 2:1. James is speaking to a group of Christians that is being persecuted for what they believe. They're being thrown to wild beasts. They're being crucified. They're being torn to pieces. And in the midst of that, he says, rejoice when you fall into diverse temptations, knowing that the trying of your faith bring about patience. You got to let patience have its perfect work so you can be made complete and perfect. What was Paul saying? You'll never be able to reach your maximum potential level until you learn how to embrace challenges. Hey, that's God. And because it's God, you can't get around it. You have to learn how to keep moving when things are difficult. Okay?